I think it's a question everybody who sees the film is going to ask is when did Liam Harris get involved with those amazing titles?
Ah, well,
Completely throw you for what's going to happen later.
Well, what happened there was the original script actually had that scene in it, the opening title scene, and we wanted to film it. But when so we did a crowdfunder to raise the money that we needed to make the film, because obviously the plane wasn't going to be free, and then hiring a lot of the equipment wasn't going to be free. So we had to sort of hire all this stuff in. But we worked out that we didn't have enough money or time to shoot that opening scene, and so we just scrapped it. We said, look, we'll just start the film straight into the action, straight on the plane. And then when the film was finished, and I was talking to Pete, I said it'd be really cool if we had like maybe an animated opening scene like Grease or Run Lola Run or something like that, where there's this animated moment that introduces our characters and the comedic sort of style of the film. And then obviously I'd met Liam a couple of times. I was asked to judge the Box Film Festival in Newbury, and Liam had entered his short film, and we, as the judges, we rated it as the sort of the favourite movie, and it won. And then afterwards, I got to chat to him when the idea of doing an animated opening sequence. I said, well, I can only think of one person that I think would do that any justice, and that was Liam. And so what I sent to Liam was the original opening that we'd written on for the actual film that we were going to shoot. I said, look, could you turn this into an animated opening sequence? And he was like, yeah, sure. And the rest was history, really. He did a cracking job, and that really set off the film really well. And then the music for that opening scene is by a band called Pantychrist. Really, really awesome name, and they're like a Canadian punk band, and that came about because we were listening to their music on set, because it's very It's basically the band in our film Monster Kitten is basically Pantychrist. It's a four female lineup of a punk band, really. And so we were sort of life imitating art, whatever. So I just played their music on the set, because it was very raw, very punky. Yeah. It just really had a nice feel to it. And then I just contacted them out of the blue, and I just said, you know what, you guys are an inspiration for us. Our band in our film is very much like you are in real life. We love your sound. Would you mind if, we had the odd track or two? Would you donate something to us? And they were just over the moon. They were like so pleased. And the opening track for the film was an unreleased track they had. He said, you can have this, it's yours. And I absolutely just adored the song. It just was so perfect. It was just like the stars have aligned. I'm getting this track coming my way, and yeah. And the other thing, the whole audio side was done by a guy called Dirk Max, who, if you're into your audio dramas and radio plays, you may have heard his name. There's a Audible. We're a big company owned by Amazon, and they've just released an adaptation of Neil Gaiman's The Sandman, which was adapted and produced for DC Comics and Audible by Dirk. And he came, I was doing after we had shot Dead Air, we were still in the sort of post-production phase, and Exit 6 Film Festival happened shortly after we had finished Dead Air, and I was doing a talk with Andrew James Spooner, who was the puppet coordinator on the film Dead Air, who was also a Muppeteer. He'd worked on a lot of Henson films. He most recently did stuff for The Dark Crystal and other things. And and we were doing this talk about puppets as part of the Exeter 6 Film Festival, and we'd been chatting to Dirk on Twitter. He'd actually donated to our Indiegogo campaign because he obviously thought we were a bunch of nutters. In fact, when he turned up, he actually turned up at this talk, and he said, "I'm here just to find out that you guys aren't crazy, or that you're not idiots." And he was just so lovely, and he just said, he just come up to me, he said, "Do you want me to do your audio mix?" I'm like,
"Wow,
would you?" He goes, "Yeah, just buy me a pint." And I had bought him that pint, although I said I'd buy him another. And he just lives down the road in Winchester, just down the road from where I live. So, so having someone with Dirk who's done all of the Aliens audio dramas, he does all Neil Gaiman's adaptations, like did Stardust and other things. He does loads of stuff for Radio 4, and I mean, he is like a god in the audio drama world, and he'll pay me for saying that. He really is it's such a lovely man, and he did the most cracking job with the audio mix. I never could have dreamt that to have such a talented guy just taking hold of the sound and owning it, and along with the score by Dan Hall, who was just incredible from the very beginning, and the music we got from Pantychrist and Erica Knuckles from the Wonder Stuff. It was just, man, it was such a roller coaster ride, and I needed the sound to lift the images, because to me, some respects, sound is more important than what you see. Because particularly in horror, for sure, because you look at Selfie, you strip the sound away from that, it's not that creepy, but the sound is almost everything about that film. That whole film is scary because of the sound, not what you see. And Dead Air was kind of similar in fact that it wasn't going to be as scary, it was just going to be fun.